This teacher was punishing a student, saying, "If you keep studying like this, you won't amount to anything when you get out in the real world." Then the student poured a bucket of water over his head. The teacher, furious, asked, "Are you trying to defy me?" The student said, "You can punish me, but you can't insult me." That student has a pretty cool name, Se-Ro. Not long after, he transferred to this new school. The homeroom teacher led him into the class. After he introduced himself, he turned back to his seat and saw a student being bullied. Apparently, the student with glasses hadn't bought the right kind of milk that the bully wanted, and he was insulting and cursing at him. Dozens of students in the class, and no one said a word. Some students were even watching with excitement. Se-Ro couldn't stand it anymore and stood up, but his classmate Su-Ah told him to sit down, advising him not to interfere in other people's business. It turned out the bully was the son of a rich family. His name was Jeon-won, and he was the future heir to the Jongga Group. Se-Ro's dad also worked there. Even this school was owned by his family, so being arrogant and bossy was a given. Everyone was afraid to mess with Jeon-won. Se-Ro still walked over there, grabbed his arm, and told him to stop. At this time, he angrily looked at Se-Ro, not believing that someone would dare to talk to him like that. The homeroom teacher came over. Se-Ro asked the teacher if he didn't see what was happening. "That's right, you're not seeing things." Even the teacher didn't dare mess with this young master. If you encountered this type of person, what would you do? Would a righteous person like Se-Ro pretend not to see anything? Absolutely not. At this time, he swung his arm and punched him, splitting his lip open. Because of this one incident, Se-Ro's fate changed completely. All the students watched Se-Ro with fear. Even the teacher couldn't believe his eyes. Later, Jeon-won sat with his legs crossed in the principal's office, and even the principal standing next to him had to bow and nod. The homeroom teacher, more pathetic than a dog, was holding a stick and beating Se-Ro. The chairman of Jongga Group walked in. Se-Ro's dad also followed behind. Chairman Jang sat down, and without asking what happened, gave Se-Ro's dad two choices. 1. Kneel down and apologize to his son. Or 2. He would be expelled from school. And he wouldn't pursue the matter. A proud guy like that couldn't bow his head before them. Moreover, it wasn't Se-Ro's fault. The chairman felt like he lost face after being rejected. Just like that, Se-Ro's dad lost his job, and he was expelled from school. Even so, his dad didn't blame him at all, and kindly said to him, "If you've made up your mind, you have to hold on to your beliefs." After his dad quit his job, he opened a restaurant, and he often helped him. Just when everything was going smoothly, an accident happened. On the way home, Se-Ro's dad was in a traffic accident and died at the scene. At his dad's funeral, a police officer said that the person who caused the accident had turned himself in and asked if he wanted to sue. When Se-Ro was sorting through the photos, he accidentally saw Jeon-won's car appear at the scene of the accident. It turned out that 2 days before, when Jeon-won took Su-Ah home, he had shown off his limited edition car, so Ah was certain that the car belonged to Jeon-won. In order to escape the law, his dad had found someone to take the blame. At this time, Se-Ro went crazy looking for him. He took off his tie and punched him in the face, then added another punch to vent his anger, fists raining down on his face. Jeon-won begged him to spare him. Then he picked up a rock, prepared to send him to the afterlife, but the police stopped him in time, and then he was thrown into prison. The next day, the chairman came to the prison and told him that he could give him another chance. The condition was to kneel down and apologize to his son. He angrily stood up, hearing that, banging his head on the glass, then told him that the person who should be kneeling down and apologizing was his son. Just like that, for the crime of inflicting injury on another person, he was in prison for 3 years. Then there was his 3 years in prison. The warden led the young man into the prison cell. As soon as the warden left, he was made to kneel down by the boss in prison. At this time, he laughed out loud, but his face was very painful, remembering the words his dad had said before. He straightened his body, then was beaten half to death by the prisoners. Not long after, Su-Ah came to visit him. Seeing that his face was covered in injuries, she felt very guilty, because she was the one who called the police to stop him. She was also a witness against him at the trial, and now she was accepting a scholarship from his enemy. So Ah cried, repented. She wanted Se-Ro to hit her and scold her so that she could feel better. When a woman betrays a man, what will the man do? We often break off all relations with her, even resent her. But he chose to be tolerant and forgive her. In his 3 years in prison, he read his enemy's book to shreds. He could recite the contents in it. Just like that, he saw revenge as his motivation. Time flies by like an arrow, and 3 years have passed. After being released from prison, Se-Ro walked on the busiest street in Seoul. After being in prison for 3 years, he was no longer used to the environment here. Today was also Halloween, and everyone was dressed up to celebrate the holiday. Suddenly, a girl wearing a mask ran up and hugged him. He was surprised to see that the girl was Su-ah. Se-ro looked at her in surprise and said that she was even more beautiful than before. Her smile was very captivating, and she was indeed his ideal type. Se-ro was no exception. After that, the two went to a bar. So-ah asked him what his plans were for the future. He said that he was about to leave Seoul to work far away for 7 years, and after returning, he would open a restaurant of his own. So-ah choked on her water. No matter how she advised him, he wouldn't change his mind, so she had to give up. This was an unforgettable night for the two of them. After drinking a few glasses of wine, Su-ah got very drunk. Se-ro carried her home. When they got to her door, perhaps because he was about to leave, the two were a little reluctant to part. Why didn't he stay? He thought that their relationship hadn't progressed to that point. Or perhaps it was because his future was bleak, and he couldn't bring happiness to her. I guess the reason he refused was because she sympathized with him. Or rather, pitied him. He didn't need these things. Only time and waiting could help him get revenge. What couldn't a man do if he could control his desires? So-ah quickly went from a low-level employee to a high-level manager at Jenga Group, relying on her efforts. Even Chairman Zhang valued her. That day, Su-ah was walking past a shop, and suddenly heard a voice that was both strange and familiar calling her. She turned her head to look. That's right, you're not seeing things. After 7 years of working far away, Se-ro had returned. He walked down the stairs towards her, but she was quite shocked. It wasn't easy for anyone to open a restaurant on the most expensive street in Seoul, Itaewon, because the price of land in Itaewon was incredibly expensive. Se-ro's revenge plan was gradually starting. I had never seen a girl as domineering as her. She raised her hand and slapped an old lady who was older than her. Do you think the girl was uneducated? Actually, it wasn't the case. It turned out that the day before, the old lady's daughter had bullied a classmate in class just because she didn't buy the right kind of bread. She then started beating her friend. At this time, the girl opened her phone, recorded the bullying scene, and then posted it online for the netizens to take revenge. It turned out that the girl was a social media star with 700,000 followers. Moreover, she was also a fashion and food blogger. She was also passionate about rock music. She was truly a talented young woman. After that, the bully's mother went to find Yi Seo, holding up her phone and asking if she had done it. Then, a painful slap landed on her face. She wasn't angry but turned her head and asked her friend next to her if he had recorded it. Actually, Yi Seo wasn't docile at all. Although she had a cute face, she had a rebellious personality. At this time, the old lady got angry and raised her hand, preparing to hit her again. But an arm held her back. That person was Se-ro. He still stood up to help when he encountered injustice, just like before. Yi Seo was even planning to use this to make more videos, but he ruined her plans. The last time she was slapped was the opening scene just now. After that, while she and her friend were getting in a car to leave, Se-ro stopped her. He angrily told her to apologize to that old lady, but she put on a pitiful act and said, "My dad died because of that old lady." Her words stabbed into his pain. He let go of her. The next day, the superintendent called her to the office to accuse her, and also threatened her, saying that the person she hit yesterday was the wife of the mayor. Then, Yi Seo calmly said, "The person who was hit deserved to be hit. Should I have to endure it if I was wronged?" Seeing the superintendent getting angry, the homeroom teacher stood up to protect her, and then let her go back to class. Switching to another scene, a motorcycle sped on the road. At this time, a ball rolled into the middle of the road, so the boy ran out to pick up the ball. Her friend didn't have time to steer and slammed on the brakes. Yi Seo, who was sitting in the back, flew up. At just the right time, Se-ro, who was handing out flyers, caught her. When he looked closely, it was the girl who had hit someone last time. It was indeed a stroke of bad luck. Before he could react, he fainted and fell to the ground. When he woke up in the hospital, he was only concerned about the new costume he had bought. Seeing the flyer still there, he was relieved, but he was looked down upon by Yi Seo, who asked if he was from another planet, saying who still wears costumes to hand out flyers now. Hearing this, Se-ro reluctantly accepted it and then left the hospital. That night, Yi Seo and her friend went to a bar to dance. She was the most free-spirited girl I had ever seen, her dance matching every beat of the music. Leaving the bar, the three of them went to a restaurant to drink alcohol. But they were stopped by the manager because they weren't old enough. In South Korea, selling alcohol to minors is illegal, so they were kicked out and had no choice but to go to Se-ro's restaurant. He was bored because there weren't any customers. But suddenly, the three of them walked in, and the staff let them in. Because there weren't any customers, Se-ro went outside to take a walk on the street, and suddenly ran into Su-ah. He heard that she was working at Jonga Company, but he liked this girl in his heart. They linked arms and walked on the street, talking and laughing. When they got in front of Se-Ro's restaurant, Se-Ro suddenly saw the underage girl drinking alcohol inside. When Se-Ro turned back, she took out her phone and complained, accusing them of selling alcohol to minors. From then on, the relationship between her and Se-Ro changed. When this man walked in and introduced himself, the police immediately changed their attitude. Then said to Se-Ro, "If you are his friend, then they have other ways of handling it." Se-Ro angrily closed his computer in front of him. Before he could say anything, Se-Ro said, "I'm not his friend, handle it according to the law." After speaking, he turned and left. It turned out that 1 hour ago at the restaurant, just because a customer called the waiter a hireling, Se-Ro stopped him and asked C1, "Is your name a hireling?" Then, he reminded the customer to watch his mouth, but they were drunk and raised their hands to punch Se-Ro, but hit Se1 instead. He raised his hand and punched the other person, and the other person lost consciousness. Se-Ro got up and tried to restrain C1, but he tackled him to the ground. After that, C1 poured a hot pot on his leg. He immediately woke up, but it still didn't stop there. C1 grabbed a beer bottle, preparing to smash him. Hyun Yi then told him to stop, preventing a tragedy from happening. C1 calmed down and immediately bowed and apologized. It turned out that 8 years ago, C1 and Se-Ro were fellow prisoners. When C1 went to prison, he felt that life was meaningless. Under Se-Ro's encouragement, he gradually found his direction and started over. At this time, the police came to check and discovered that Yi Seo and her friend had used fake IDs to eat here. After that, they were taken to the police station. So Ah was standing outside at this time, mumbling an apology. Her heart must have been very complicated at this time. One side was love, one side was career. All she could do was listen to her conscience. On this side, when he got to the police station, Se-Ro discovered that Yi Seo's friend was Jeon-won's younger brother. After his father passed away, he went in and out of prison, hiding his identity for many years, trying to earn money to open a restaurant, but he had to close it for 2 months, after being open for only a few days. This was a big blow to him, and he had a hard time accepting this. We go back to the beginning. Se-Ro didn't need Jeon-won's help, and told the police to handle it according to the law. After speaking, he turned and left. After he left the police station, he was called back by Yi Seo. He smiled mockingly and said, "I'd rather die than need those people's help." Seo Yi sarcastically said to him, "Pride comes before a fall. You'd rather let the restaurant close than bow down to ask for help from others." This sentence hit Se-Ro's sore spot. At this time, Jeon-won also walked out from the police station. He arrogantly provoked Se-won. Every time he got angry, he would touch his head. Faced with the other party's provocation, he endured it again, angrily brushed his hand away, finished speaking, then turned around and left. It was from that moment that Yi Seo had a good impression of him. I had never seen a girl as bold as her. She ran into the men's restroom. Se-Ro was very embarrassed, the two of them locking eyes. Yi Seo laughed at him, and he embarrassedly turned his head away. While the two were not saying anything, another person ran in. After Se-Ro finished and stood in front of the mirror to wash his hands, he saw Yi Seo constantly staring at him. It turned out that she wanted to ask for his help. Unexpectedly, he pretended not to see anything, finished washing his hands and left. Then she called him back. She stammered and couldn't say a word. The man next to her lied and said that Yi Seo was his girlfriend. Yi Seo asked in surprise, "Since when did I become your girlfriend?" Se-Ro saw that there was a problem and went up and asked, "Why is your face swollen?" He warned Se-Ro not to interfere in other people's business, but he didn't bother to care. Because he had experience from before, he asked Yi Seo, "Can I get involved?" Yi Seo suddenly remembered the scene of the first time they met, and even made fun of him for interfering in other people's business. After that, Se-Ro asked her, "If you don't say anything, I'm going to leave." Yi Seo thought for a moment and said, "Okay, please help me." After speaking, Se-Ro grabbed her hand and pulled her out, but he was stopped by the man next to her. Se-Ro pushed him into the corner of the wall. He got angry, stood up and raised his hand to punch Se-Ro, but he was punched and his lip was split open. The sassy Yi Seo felt for the first time that having a boyfriend like him was really good. It turned out that 2 hours ago, a strange man came up to talk to her. He asked them if they wanted to join tables. After going to the table, Yi Seo felt that it was very boring. She grabbed her coat, stood up and left. She left her two friends behind, but unexpectedly he followed her. At this time, he angrily pulled her and said that the bottle of wine tonight was very expensive, so she couldn't just leave. After that, Yi Seo scoffed, pulled out money and threw it at him. He was humiliated, held Yi Seo and gave her a painful slap. Just when he was preparing to slap her again, she tackled him to the ground. After that, he angrily chased Yi Seo to the restroom and met Se-ro there. On this side, Chairman Zhang sought Su-ah out to tell her that Se-ro had returned. After that, he also asked her a very difficult question. If Zhanga Group had a conflict with Se-ro, who would she choose? So Ah thought for a while, and in the end, she chose benefits. It could be seen that she was an ambitious person. On this side, after being rescued by Se-ro, to thank him, Yi Seo decided to use her social media account to help him promote, and also gave him some business and restaurant decorating advice. After that, she asked him why he named the restaurant Danbam. After speaking, Se-ro stood up, preparing to leave, but fainted and fell to the ground. Yi Seo looked at him lying on the ground, slowly walked towards him, then sat down, hugged his head and kissed him on the lips. That day, Yi Seo came in front of Se-ro's restaurant. From then on, this restaurant named Danbam had a very big change. Have you ever seen anyone go to apply for a job like this? She immediately asked to be a manager, even if she wasn't paid. Yi Seo's reason was that the owner wasn't capable enough, so they needed a manager. He didn't refuse her request, but told her to prove her ability. At this time, Yi Seo told Si-won to bring her a dish, and also told him to treat her like a normal customer. Very quickly, Si-won brought the dish from the kitchen to Yi Seo, but he was stopped by her. After that, she said that there was a problem with the service, then asked everyone to guess what the problem was. At this time, Se-ro said, "Could it be that there is a problem with Si-won's face?" As soon as he said that, everyone burst out laughing. Yi Seo continued, "When you bring the dish, you can't have your fingers inside," and also said that you must use 2 hands to give it to the customer. She took the menu and said that this place didn't have a specialty, then raised her phone to take a picture. No matter how she took it, there wasn't a good view, and even the restaurant's signature dish didn't make you want to eat it. On the street of Itaewon, Se-ro didn't have any customers, let alone anywhere else. For the time after that, Yi Seo wholeheartedly renovated the restaurant. Now, with her eye for aesthetics, the restaurant changed a lot. After 3 months of being closed for business, the restaurant Danbam officially reopened. Yi Seo had hundreds of thousands of followers, and she relied on her influence to immediately pull customers in for the restaurant. Outside, there was also a long line of people waiting. So seeing the long line of customers outside, was very troubled. At this time, Se-ro and Yi Seo looked at each other and smiled. She had also proven her ability. Switching to another scene, this boy was often bullied by his brother, and his brother would often vent his anger on him. And he didn't dare to say anything. He told his dad, but unexpectedly, he didn't care. His mom was heartbroken seeing that he was injured. When she knew that it was his brother's doing, his mother acted as if nothing had happened and left. Everything was because he was an illegitimate son. From a young age to adulthood, in this house, he had never been protected or loved by his family. Even if it was very difficult outside, he didn't want to go home until he met Se-ro, and he felt the warmth of a family for the first time. Even though the restaurant was closed, Se-ro didn't blame him at all. Instead, he comforted and encouraged him. Se-ro was truly a generous person. On this side, Chairman Zhang discovered that the second largest shareholder, Mrs. Kang, was holding more than 25% of the company's shares. So he started to investigate her. She said that she had recently met a very good financial consultant, and he could hold these shares within his capabilities. After that, both directors believed that Mrs. Kang would quickly replace Chairman Zhang's position. Although she also wanted that, she had to wait for the right time. Her right time was to wait for Se-ro to appear. After that, she warned both directors. That day, Chairman Zhang was walking with Su, when he suddenly asked her if she supported Mrs. Kang or him. So laughed and said, "I'm just an ordinary employee. I don't have that kind of power." After that, he said that, "I have seen you as family, you must stand on my side. You can't be in the middle." After that, the chairman looked at Se-ro's restaurant and then said to her, "Don't just talk, but use actions to prove it to me." But before she could take action, the restaurant had a problem. Customers repeatedly found hair in their food. Also, customers sometimes complained that the food was bland, and sometimes it was too salty. So they discussed how to improve the food. Currently, the large number of customers was due to advertising. If they wanted to improve the quality, they had to rely on the chef. Yi Seo proposed firing Hyun Yi. If they didn't change the chef and improve the quality of the food, the restaurant would soon be over when it was no longer popular. After that, Se-ro called Hyun Yi over and said to her, "I want Danbam to be more developed. But now there's a problem, your food is very ordinary." After speaking, he gave Hyun Yi an envelope with her month's salary inside, plus double. After that, he said to her, "If you like this job, you have to work twice as hard to be worthy of the salary." It was admitted that Yi Seo's thoughts were extremely thorough. This was the ability of a leader. This girl, in G, became dissatisfied with the recent situation of her classmate. Immediately after, seeing her drinking alcohol in the restaurant, she immediately dialed the phone to complain, causing the restaurant to be closed for 2 months. It still didn't stop there. On the way home from work, Yi Seo ran into them. The three of them were the group of bullies that she had recorded and posted online. Even though her mother came to threaten her, she wasn't afraid. They knew that Yi Seo worked at Say Ro's place, so they blocked her way here. Yi Seo, seeing that they didn't know to repent and were still arrogant, didn't intend to cause trouble, but suddenly heard the other party say, "I was the one who reported that you guys were drinking that night." It turned out that Su Ah didn't report it that night. At that time she hesitated, and in the end she had to give up. At this time, the bully's friend happened to pass by, called and told the police on Yi Seo. With her righteous personality, Yi Seo immediately got angry, raising her hand to slap her. The other two, seeing that In-ji was hit, also rushed up, but were slapped to the ground by Yi Seo. After that, she looked apologetic. The other girl was too scared to do anything. Then, Yi Seo grabbed In-ji's hair and told her what manners were. Someone intervened, so she stopped. That night, Say Ro and Yi Seo were walking on the street when they unexpectedly ran into Su Ah. When Su Ah asked him, "How was the TV interview today?" Say Ro only answered perfunctorily. This time, he was very cold to her. She had never felt as lost as she did now. It turned out that 2 days ago, in order to promote the name of Danbam Restaurant, Yi Seo applied to participate in a TV show with the other restaurants. That day, Say Ro happily went to the TV station. When he entered the interview room, he met Jeon Won sitting there. It turned out that he was in charge of this program. Just like that, he was disqualified from participating. While waiting for the elevator to go home, Jeon Won came out following him, taunting him terribly, and even pulled Su Ah out to provoke him. After that, he also said that he liked her. He continued, "How many times have I said it? You're so pathetic and you even dare to like her. Just looking at you makes it clear that she only pities you. So Ah will become the future hostess of Janga Group. Or do you want to spend your days with a person with a criminal record who graduated from high school?" And Say Ro said, "She shouldn't love a murderer." Jeon Won's expression immediately changed, trying to appear calm. They challenged each other, and Say Ro also understood Su Ah's situation. He also began to rethink his feelings for her. Back in the present, after Su Ah left feeling lost, Yi Seo said to Say Ro, "It wasn't Su Ah who reported them." After she said that, he was quite stunned. Then he made an excuse to go back first and chased after Su. At this time, he only felt guilty towards her. He knew that it wasn't easy for her to work at Janga Group. Perhaps she had something difficult to say, but his feelings for her had never changed. Say Ro ran a long way, and finally caught up with Su Ah. When he met her, he took her hand and apologized. And at this time, the bus came and interrupted their conversation. So Ah sat on the bus and quietly shed tears, while Say Ro remembered the scene of being humiliated by Jeon Won. So he called a mysterious friend and told him that he was going to invest 1 billion. One in Jenga Group. He had finally waited for this day. Yi Seo saw So Ah about to kiss Say Ro, but she interrupted them at this time. Say Ro was also speechless, and the atmosphere became awkward. Thanks to promotion through social media, Danbam Restaurant was getting more and more customers. Say Ro also had to hire more staff. Through each round of selection, he finally chose a foreigner, but he spoke Korean very fluently, and everyone was very surprised. Yi Seo decided to hire him. On this side, Chairman Zhang returned to the company, with a group of employees following behind. At this time, his secretary hurriedly ran over to tell him about what happened last night. The list of shareholders had changed. After that, the chairman looked at the list and saw Say Ro's name. It turned out that because his son had hit someone, it led to a terrible share price. And Say Ro had taken the opportunity to invest all of his father's insurance money. When he learned of this matter, his face changed, and he asked the secretary how much was invested in total. The secretary gave the data to the chairman. The number of 1 billion won made him stunned. From a poor guy that he looked down on, he now appeared on the list of shareholders, dealing him a painful blow. After that, the chairman took Su Ah and Jeon Won to Danbam Restaurant. He calmly said to them, "Welcome to Danbam Restaurant." After 8 years, the old and the young met again. He had truly waited for this day for a long time. Say Ro felt that this was worth the effort he put in. His resolute eyes were like a sharp knife, making Chairman Zhang feel that he was being threatened. The wolf that had been hiding for 8 years had finally recovered and roared loudly. Before they left, Chairman Zhang warned Sei-Ro with a contemptuous look, and even pulled his dad out to insult him. Sei-Ro also told him that his goal was to make him kneel down and beg. He also replied that he wouldn't show any mercy, but he still politely bowed to see the guests off. His warning wasn't an impulsive thing, but a method of threatening his enemies. The mysterious person behind Sei-Ro, Ho Jin, also appeared with him to fight against Jangga Group. Ho Jin was an economic expert, graduated with a degree in finance from Korea University, and was also a master of financial consulting. Let's talk about the relationship between Ho Jin and Sei-Ro. 8 years ago, because he didn't buy the right flavor of milk that Jun-Wan asked for, Ho Jin was beaten by him. Sei-Ro then stood up and punched Jun-Wan, splitting his lip open. Ho Jin had endured it for 3 years in that environment to pass the finance major exam at Korea University. He was very grateful to Sei-Ro for helping him that year. Ho Jin often came to visit Sei-Ro when he was in prison. When he met Sei-Ro, he didn't say any empty words of thanks, but blamed Sei-Ro for standing up to protect him again, interfering in other people's business, then said his point of view. He would use patience and perseverance to take revenge. Then, he thanked Sei-Ro and told him his revenge plan. Ho Jin decided to help Sei-Ro get revenge. After that, Sei-Ro also said his goal. Looking at Ho Jin's resolute eyes, the two of them cooperated. Just like that, the two became partners for a period of 8 years. Ho Jin did as Sei-Ro instructed, investing all of his dad's insurance money into the shares of Jangga Group. Over a decade, the shares were like a snowball, getting bigger and bigger. And then Sei-Ro was on the list of shareholders, but with 1 billion won, he still didn't have 1% of Chairman Zhang's shares. If they wanted to overthrow the Zhang family, it would be very difficult. So he sought out a friend of his father's when he was alive, who was also the second largest shareholder of the corporation, Mrs. Kang. Jangga Group was now jointly founded by her father and Chairman Zhang, so she didn't want to let a spoiled young master take over the corporation. Sei-Ro's purpose in meeting Mrs. Kang was also very clear, which was to help her become the person in power of the corporation, so that he had the opportunity to overthrow Chairman Zhang, not to overthrow the Jangga Group. So Sei-Ro shook hands and cooperated with Mrs. Kang, together overthrowing Jun-Wan and his father. Switching scenes to Dan Bam restaurant, that day a foreign couple came. At this time, Sei-Ro told Tony to go and serve the customers. When the customers spoke a string of English, Sei-Ro didn't understand anything, and Tony didn't even know a little bit of English. After that, he could only tell the truth that he was afraid of being fired by ESEO. On this side, Chairman Zhang invited Mrs. Kang to his house to play Go. As soon as the two met, the atmosphere was thick with gunpowder. Their words were extremely implicit. Probing each other, he told Mrs. Kang, "I'm old. I'm about to reach retirement age. But I'm not at ease handing the corporation over to my incompetent son to take over. The most suitable person right now is Mrs. Kang." But in her heart, she understood that this old man was testing her loyalty. The two understood what the other party's scheme was, but they acted calmly. This was a battle between masters. After playing Go, Mrs. Kang stood up and left. But as soon as she left, Chairman Zhang held out several photos, which were the scene of her meeting Sei-Ro. This old fox had long had precautions, and always had people following her. On this side, Sei-Ro also encountered a difficult problem, because his lease was about to expire, and the landlord wanted to sell this place to someone else. The new landlord not only wanted to increase the rent, but also wanted to take back the restaurant after half a year. If he couldn't find a new place to rent within half a year, Sei-Ro would lose hundreds of millions. The restaurant was growing day by day. If he moved now, it would have a very big impact. So Sei-Ro called the new landlord to negotiate, but unexpectedly, the other end of the line was Chairman Zhang. What would Sei-Ro do to solve this problem? Sei-Ro and Ho Jin were planning their revenge. Sei-Ro was looking at a chart of the stock analysis of Jangga Group, and Ho Jin said that if they wanted to overthrow Chairman Zhang, they were currently short 12% of the shares. Therefore, Sei-Ro remembered someone at this time, the man who repented and knelt down in front of Sei-Ro, begging him for forgiveness. It turned out that Bung Hun was the police officer in charge of his father's accident 10 years ago. Because he was pressured by Chairman Zhang that year, he handled this case perfunctorily. He still had a young daughter to take care of, and in the end, he chose to remain silent. Because of his selfishness, Sei-Ro was in prison for 3 years. Later, because he was gnawed by his conscience, he resigned from his job. After resigning, he and his daughter traded in agricultural products. Bung Hun was the only person who knew the truth about the death of Sei-Ro's father. Because he was so remorseful, he knelt down in front of him. He swore that he would pay for his sins. "No matter what I do, I'll do it. I'll agree to it. I'll try my best to compensate you. What do you want me to do? I'll do it. A few hundred." A few million, no matter how long it takes. I'll compensate you. Only if he confessed would he be able to demand justice for his father's death, and he could also make Jian-Wan suffer the punishment of the law. But Beng-hun used the reason that his daughter was too young and needed someone to take care of her, so he refused. Se-ro saw that he still had some conscience, so he didn't force him, then left with Ye Seo. On the way, he told Ye Seo all of his grudges with Chairman Zhang. On this side, Se-ro went to Chairman Zhang's office, and he asked him why he bought his restaurant. And his answer was really ridiculous. Were all rich people unreasonable like that? He bought Se-ro's restaurant to let his second son see who was stronger. So he took advantage of this opportunity to teach him a lesson. Not only that, but he was gradually forcing Se-ro into a dead end. He heard this and then said, "This is the power you talked about?" After that, Se-ro asked him what he wanted. Chairman Zhang only needed him to kneel down and admit his mistake. A proud person like Se-ro, how could he kneel down and apologize to him? After speaking, he turned around and left. The next day, he sought out Mrs. Kang. At this time, he came up with a solution and told Mrs. Kang that he had decided to withdraw 1 billion won of stock money. At first, Mrs. Kang didn't agree with his suggestion. It was only when Se-ro's restaurant was on the verge of closing that Mrs. Kang understood him. He had to temporarily put aside his revenge, put his employees first, and continue to run the restaurant. That was the ability of a leader. Chairman Zhang opened a meeting, talking about the history of the development of Jenga Group, and encouraging employees to devote themselves to building the group. After he finished speaking, Ye Seo sitting below raised her hand to ask the first question. She introduced herself, and then said that she worked at a small restaurant, and her superiors said that if she wanted to do business, she had to learn from the smallest thing. She asked the chairman if he also thought the same way. The chairman said, "Doing business is to make money." After that, Ye Seo even more boldly provoked Chairman Zhang, asking him if he believed that a small restaurant could surpass a large corporation. Chairman Zhang was not happy at all at this time, but he said, "As long as I'm alive, this won't happen." On this side, Se-ro, without waiting for Ye Seo to finish speaking, tore off her name tag and threw it on the ground. It turned out that the day before, a sudden call had affected the restaurant. The restaurant had to face the risk of being closed and moved to another place. Ye Seo also found a solution, and sought out Jian-Wan, telling him all the grudges between Se-ro and Jenga Group, telling his father not to make things difficult for Se-ro anymore. Back to just now, Se-ro lowered his ego and apologized to Ye Seo. When he calmed down, he said, "I'm going to buy this building." As soon as he said that, everyone looked at each other in confusion. Se-ro had spent nearly 1 billion to buy the entire building. Everyone was busy decorating the restaurant again. Everything returned to normal. I had never seen anyone as generous as him, paying a salary of 250 million to invite a girl who had just come of age to work at the company. Ye Seo immediately agreed. Then she curiously asked why Se-ro was constantly opposing him. Did the two of them have a grudge? This question made Jian-Wan not know how to answer, whether it was surprise or astonishment. Even he wasn't sure. The following words of Ye Seo made him happy inside. He triumphantly said, "The laws are issued to punish the poor. They have no effect on their upper class." After that, he recounted the entire process of causing the accident that killed someone and finding someone to take the blame. At this time, she finally learned of the suffering that Se-ro had to endure, and she secretly made up her mind that she wouldn't let go of anyone who hurt him. When she learned the truth, her face changed. She took out her phone and turned on the recording for him to hear. It turned out that she had been recording what he said this whole time. Now, Jian-Wan realized that he had been tricked by her, and looked at the phone on the table. Ye Seo used the recording to threaten Jian-Wan, and announced that she would personally overthrow him and his father. Jian-Wan angrily stood up, preparing to hit her. She quickly splashed the cup of coffee in his face. It was indeed her style. After that, she stepped out of the coffee shop. Jian-Wan knew that something was wrong, so he chased after her. It turned out that one day before, her standing up to ask a question had caught Chairman Zhang's attention. So he had his secretary arrange a meeting with her, and even invited her to dinner. The purpose of his meeting with her was to invite her to work at Jenga Group. Because of Se-ro, she had flatly refused. Then she also made clear the reason for her refusal. It turned out that the reason he had invited Ye Seo was to force Se-ro into a corner. After that, she said to him, "I will consider your suggestion, after you are no longer against Se-ro." The chairman wasn't reconciled, so he told the secretary to think of every way to invite Ye Seo to Jenga Group. The secretary walked out of the office and bumped into Jian-Wan, so he gave this task to the empty-headed young master. After that, the scene that happened at the coffee shop earlier occurred. Jian-Wan angrily chased after Ye Seo. When he caught her, he gave her a slap, telling her to hand over the phone. Yi Seo, seeing him so fierce, called out for help. At this time, passers-by gathered around. Juan Wan, seeing people standing and watching, took out money and said to Yi Seo, "Only money can buy people's hearts in this world," and then threw the stack of money at the passers-by. Sure enough, those people immediately bent down to pick up the money. At this time, John Wan arrogantly said to Yi Seo, "No matter where you are, you can use money to solve things." He wasn't even finished speaking when he was punched and fell to the ground. Yi Seo was touched when Sei Ro ran to save her. She said that she had recorded Jion Wan admitting to causing the accident, and she had to release this recording. Sei Ro, seeing that she was injured, angrily prepared to hit Jion Wan, but she stopped him. Jion Wan, seeing the police car coming, prepared to run away, but was stopped by passers-by. So the police arrested him and took him back to the station. Sei Ro felt guilty for letting her go find evidence alone, so he hugged her and comforted her. On this side, Bung Hun and his daughter came to deliver the goods. Suddenly, his daughter went missing. Mrs. Kang was being followed. Who was the mastermind behind this? The owner and staff of Danbam Restaurant were meeting to discuss plans to develop the restaurant. While everyone was talking, Bung Hun and his daughter came to deliver the goods. Ever since he opened the restaurant, he had only been getting goods from Bung Hun. After that, he let the staff go outside to unload the goods. Bung Hun also took this opportunity to tell Sei Ro about his father's case. His daughter saw a cat outside and chased after it. When Bung Hun turned his head, he couldn't see his daughter anywhere. After that, they ran outside to look but couldn't find her. Sei Ro also told everyone to quickly go and find the girl. Bung Hun's daughter couldn't find her way back, so she happened to meet Mrs. Kang. The little girl borrowed her phone to call her dad. He ran to his daughter. When they were about to leave, Bung Hun discovered that someone was taking pictures of them. After that, he used the excuse of going to make a phone call, told them to go back first, then blocked the photographer. Bung Hun immediately took down the other person and snatched back the camera. They went back to the restaurant, opened it, and saw that it was full of pictures of Mrs. Kang. So they thought about who was behind this. Sei Ro guessed that it must be Chairman Jang, which proved that he knew about her cooperating with him. It was also because of this that Bong Hyun decided not to tell him about that matter. On this side, the secretary told Chairman Jang that the surveillance of Mrs. Kang had been discovered, and also said that the company that provided food for Danbam Restaurant was managed by Bung Hun. Chairman Jang guessed that Bung Hun must know Sei Ro's father. He quickly set his sights on this matter. Very quickly, he arranged to meet Bung Hun. He went straight to the point, saying that he wanted to have a long-term business relationship with his company. Bung Hun said that being able to cooperate with a large corporation like that was truly an honor. When he asked Chairman Jang what the terms of cooperation were, he said, "Our corporation is very large. Providing food for the corporation is busy enough. I hope that you will end your cooperation with other restaurants." And he also signed an exclusive contract with him. Bung Hun read the sales contract, saw that the benefits were extremely attractive, but he refused to cooperate. Chairman Jang was quite surprised, and then asked him if he refused because of Sei Ro. Bung Hun said, "I can't repay what I owe him, even if I spent my whole life. I won't turn my back on Sei Ro for a little bit of benefit. I also believe that after 10 years, he will definitely succeed." After that, Chairman Jang used his daughter to threaten him. Bung Hun replied, "The case of your son running over and killing someone 10 years ago. Unfortunately, I was the police officer in charge of that case." Chairman Jang, hearing this, also couldn't remain calm, and immediately remembered what the secretary had said yesterday. Before leaving, Bung Hun also said that he did things that went against his conscience that year, and he wouldn't do it again in the future. After that, the secretary apologized to Chairman Jang, blaming himself for not investigating clearly. Janga Group was facing the risk of bankruptcy. Mrs. Kang opened a shareholders meeting, voting to dismiss the chairman. After Jian Wan learned this news, he rushed into the meeting, making a scene and asking Mrs. Kang why she was treating his father like this. But she replied that the chairman was dismissed by the board to protect you. Jian Wan, at this time, both blamed himself and was unable to do anything. Chairman Jang angrily slapped his incompetent son, and if that wasn't enough, he gave him another one. The more he hit him, the angrier he got, landing 4 slaps in a row. What exactly happened to make him so angry? It turned out that just because this useless son bullied a girl on a crowded street, he was arrested by the police. The truth about the accident that killed Sei Ro's father was gradually revealed, and the resulting news caused Janga Group stock to plummet. On this side, Sei Ro took Yi Seo to meet Mrs. Kang and Ho Jin. After that, he introduced her to her. Then Mrs. Kang blamed her for interfering, causing the company's stock price to fall. At this time, Yi Seo said that Zhanga Group's stock price was going to fall sooner or later. Even if there wasn't the matter of Jian-Wan running someone over, Mrs. Kang running for chairman would also cause the stock price to fall. After that, Sei-ro advised Mrs. Kang to quickly seize this opportunity to take over the group, because this was the time when the chairman Zhang's family caused the stock price to fall, and many shareholders would definitely support her. After thinking for a moment, she let Yi Seo continue. She said, "Currently, we can't confront Chairman Zhang directly, because relying only on the recording, we can't accuse him. And it's not even enough to file an investigation. If we want to take advantage of this opportunity to overthrow them, we must meet two conditions. The first condition is to investigate Jian-Wan. To do this, we need Beng-hun to confess." At the same time, Yi Seo hoped that Mrs. Kang would go and probe Chairman Zhang's movements and clarify whether he wanted to keep the company or protect his son. If he abandoned his son and chose the company, then their plan would be ruined, because as long as Chairman Zhang chose the company, the other shareholders would naturally support him. But if he chose his son, he would lose the support of the other shareholders, and they could use that opportunity to overthrow Chairman Zhang. This was the second condition that Yi Seo mentioned. Sei-ro believed that Chairman Zhang was a person who put interests first, and he would definitely choose the company, and the four of them could only sit still and watch. On this side, Chairman Zhang also found a lawyer to help his son escape justice. The lawyer told him the evidence was not enough to sentence his son. It wasn't enough to define the crime, so he just let out a sigh of relief. Unexpectedly, he was scolded by a torrent of mean words. After they came out, Su-ah advised him to disregard Jian-Wan and kick him out of the company. Even if he was guilty or not, the degree of influence on the group was the same, so only by disregarding Jian-Wan could his power in the company be stabilized. He said that he had founded the Zhanga Group for his family, and now Su-ah was asking him to kick his son out, so he couldn't do it. He also knew that Mrs. Kang was eyeing his position, then warned Su-ah not to mention this matter again in the future. The news of Jian-Wan's assault and hit-and-run spread online, and the multi-billion-dollar corporation behind him was also dragged into criticism. Jian-Wan was summoned for investigation. He would recount the entire process of the crime, according to the lawyer's instructions. Just as he was preparing to leave, he was called back by Chairman Zhang, who said that his whole life, he had lived for the family, and had always wanted him to inherit Zhanga Group, so he had been too strict with him, and had never even hugged him once. Jian-Wan was touched and shed tears. After that, the secretary took him away, and as he was going out, he suddenly ran into Yi Seo, who was there to participate in the vote. Jian-Wan angrily raised his hand to prepare to hit her, but fortunately, the secretary stopped him. The wily Chairman Zhang opened an emergency press conference before the vote, speaking up to confess his crimes, apologizing before the media, and admitting to the hit and run. He also put all the blame on his son, saying that he didn't know anything. After that, he knelt down to apologize to the victim's family. It was truly a waste that his acting didn't win an Oscar. He even put on the act of a great father. At this time, Jian-Wan, who was on his way to the police station, learned that he had been abandoned by his father, so he broke the door and ran away. Because of this emergency meeting, the plan of Sei-ro and everyone was ruined, and he felt that his actions were disgusting. After the meeting ended, Chairman Zhang went out and saw his son standing next to him looking at him. Facing the reporter's questions, Jian-Wan was very disappointed in him. In that moment, he also realized that family wasn't as important as benefits in his heart. After that, Jian-Wan admitted to all the mistakes in front of the reporters. On this side, Chairman Zhang had seen through Mrs. Kang's plan, and was also investigating her. He also knew that the person serving tea was someone she had placed. The two immediately exposed each other's faces. He angrily transferred Mrs. Kang to another branch of the company, so that she couldn't interfere in the affairs of the group. In the courtroom, Jian-Wan was also punished appropriately. The judge sentenced him to 7 years in prison for the crime of hit and run. As Sei-ro stood up to leave, Chairman Zhang said, "Are you very happy right now?" He turned his head and said, "How could I be? Aren't you still sitting here?" He also said, "It was truly a good idea for you to win over Mrs. Kang. Is Zhanga Group a wall that can be easily knocked down?" After that, he threatened him. "For Zhanga, I can do anything." It wasn't yet time to open Danbam restaurant when a girl walked in. It turned out that it was the chef, Hyun Yi. "You're not seeing things." She had successfully undergone gender reassignment surgery. Everyone in the restaurant stared at her in amazement. Sei-ro, standing beside her, looked Hyun Yi up and down, and even Yi Seo praised her endlessly. At this time, Sei-ro received a call from the TV station, inviting them to participate in a cooking competition. They decided to participate. So Ah visited Jian-Wan in prison. He thought that she had come to visit him, but she gave him an envelope. The smile on his face immediately disappeared. It turned out that Chairman Zhang had told her to bring him a share transfer agreement to sign. Jian Wan was disappointed in him. At the same time, Jian Su asked Sei Ro for a leave of absence, and everyone didn't understand why he was quitting. After that, Jian Su told him his thoughts. He had to go back to Zhangge to seize back his inheritance rights. Although Sei Ro didn't understand why he was doing that, he still respected his decision. So he didn't say much. After returning, Su Ah gave the share transfer agreement to Chairman Zhang. He didn't let her work as a manager at the restaurant anymore, and instead promoted her to manager of the planning department. At this time, he called Jian Su in and introduced him to Su Ah, telling her to train him. After that, Su Ah took him to the cooking competition. The competition was quickly broadcast. Hyun Yi, representing Danbam Restaurant, participated in the competition, and she didn't disappoint her colleagues, achieving first place in the first round, and also helping Danbam Restaurant become famous overnight. Many people came to enjoy the delicious food. Not only that, but many investors also sent invitations to cooperate. That day, they were celebrating in the restaurant when a strange man walked in. It turned out that he learned about the restaurant through the cooking competition. He gave his business card to Sei Ro, saying that he was managing a very famous investment company, and felt that his restaurant had a lot of potential, wanting to develop Danbam into a chain restaurant. Yi Seo, hearing this, smiled like a flower. She felt that this was the time to expand the restaurant. But Sei Ro hesitated a bit. He hoped that if he wanted to do business, he had to be stable. So, he asked Ho Jin to find out the background of this investment company. After he saw the business card, he told Sei Ro that this investment company was also very powerful. And Yi Seo also advised him a lot. Just like that, they decided to accept the investment. The next day, the two sought out the investor to look more mature. Yi Seo even wore glasses. Unexpectedly, Sei Ro gave an investment amount of 5 billion. He believed that only this number was worthy of the name Danbam. The investor also appreciated his ambition, and immediately agreed to invest 5 billion. Danbam Restaurant quickly received 5 billion in investment, becoming a media sensation. As the restaurant's name spread more and more, there were more and more investors. The amount of investment they received reached nearly 10 billion. After getting the investment money, they started a company in a large building. At the same time, the second round of the cooking competition took place, and Hyun Yi didn't let everyone down, once again winning first place. On this side, Zhangge Restaurant failed 2 times in a row. Chairman Zhang, learning this news, angrily told the two of them that if they couldn't beat Danbam Restaurant in the next round, they shouldn't come to work anymore. After that, Jian Su asked him to be in charge of the program, and seeing that he was so confident, he agreed, and so Ah would assist him. From that moment on, the dark side of Jian Su gradually emerged. At the same time, Sei Ro also encountered the most difficult problem he had ever faced. Not long before, he received a large investment, but now he was facing the problem of withdrawing the investment. So, they went to the investment company to find out why, and there was a piece of paper posted on the door that said, "For rent." Sei Ro rushed inside, but there wasn't a soul in sight. The ground was covered in papers. At this time, Sei Ro's phone was full of text messages, withdrawing the investment. Yi Seo, who was heading to the airport to go on vacation, also received that news. On the way, she felt very guilty, because everything was due to her advising Sei Ro to risk accepting the investment. Back at the restaurant, they hurriedly discussed solutions. At this time, a mysterious person walked into Chairman Zhang's office, and it was Sei Ro's investor. It turned out that everything was a scheme of his, and his only purpose was to let Sei Ro know what manners were. After learning the news that the investment was withdrawn, the other investors ran to cause trouble. Sei Ro didn't know what to do, when he suddenly saw Su Ah appear. In her hand was a potted plant with the words, "Contentment and knowing enough," written on it. Sei Ro finally understood everything, and he yelled at them that they could cancel the contract but not cause trouble. After that, he said that trust was the foundation of doing business. Danbam Restaurant would not disappoint its partners, and promised that the opening day of the other branches would not change. After speaking, he turned and left. But this time, he didn't even bother to look at Su Ah. After that, she chased after him, asking him where he got the money to open the branches. Sei Ro said that he used Danbam Restaurant as collateral to borrow money from the bank. So Ah advised him to let go of his hatred and live life day by day. When Yi Seo called to apologize to him, Sei Ro said that this was his decision. It wasn't her fault, and also said that he wouldn't give up and wouldn't stop until he got revenge. So Ah, hearing this, knew that he had no feelings for her anymore. So she desperately sat down and burst into tears. On this side, The old woman who often came to Dan Bam restaurant ran into a man who was in debt and wanted to end it all. She saw him thinking nonsense and angrily cursed at him, but in the process, he accidentally pushed the old woman down. And a staff member at Dan Bam restaurant happened to see this scene. Se-ro hurriedly took her to the hospital and took care of her diligently. Fortunately, it was only a scratch on the outside and nothing serious. It turned out that it was because his children had nothing to eat that he thought of that stupid thing. That old woman woke up very angry. At this time, Tony told him that compared to having food to eat, his children needed him more. If they didn't have a father, they would definitely be very unhappy. After hearing this, he cried loudly. The old woman gave him some money, telling him to go back and take care of his children. After he left, Se-ro asked her family about her, and they said that her son had married a girl from Africa. But she had objected to this. Later, her son was in a traffic accident and passed away, and to this day, she was very remorseful to her son, and Tony was her grandson. Thanks to Se-ro's good deed, their crisis was resolved. That old woman looked very normal. She only ate the cheapest food, and she lived very frugally. But behind her was a huge fortune worth trillions. When she read the news, she learned about Se-ro's situation. She went to find Chairman Zhang in person. It turned out that before he was as rich as he was now, he used to be a beggar running around. And she had helped him before, and even invested in him to open a restaurant. This time she came here to advise him to let Se-ro go, but he refused to listen, and even said that unless Se-ro knelt down and begged him, he would spare him. On this side, Yi Seo returned from her vacation, and went with Se-ro to find the investors on the list. There was a woman named Kim, and they didn't know that that person was Tony's grandmother. Very quickly, Yi Seo invited Mrs. Kang and Tony's grandmother to Dan Bam restaurant. It turned out that she was Mrs. Kang's benefactor when she was young. Yi Seo started to talk about the difficult situation that the restaurant was currently facing. When Se-ro learned of her identity, he refused her investment. The main reason was, the old woman hearing this angrily said to him, "Your employees are suffering so much, but you only care about your face, thinking that you're noble." After speaking, she stood up and left. That night, Se-ro stood outside the company, waiting for Su-ah to finish work. Then the two went to eat grilled meat together. So-ah also understood that because he wanted to get revenge, he didn't want to be in a relationship. But she didn't know if they would get together after he got his revenge. After saying goodbye to Su-ah, he returned to the restaurant and saw Si-won and Yun-yi sleeping on the ground. And he remembered the old woman's words from earlier. He couldn't let his face involve other people. So, he called her, and in order to convince her, Yi Seo went home with him. Se-ro finally abandoned all pretense and asked her to invest. She immediately agreed, not because of Tony, but because he had a good vision. When she asked what his future goal was, Se-ro said, "I want to be #1 in Korea." She also had a request. Before accepting her investment, they had to win the cooking competition to prove their strength. At this time, they also breathed a sigh of relief. The competition quickly took place. They went to the TV station. At this time, Se-ro told Hyun-yi that he had found an investor, and the investor was Tony's grandmother. But the condition was that they had to win the competition. A very heavy responsibility was placed on Hyun-yi's shoulders. At the same time, Si-won saw the news of Hyun-yi's gender reassignment spreading online. After that, he ran over to show it to Se-ro. When she learned of this matter, Hyun-yi was very stunned, then frantically ran away. Because there was a lot of discrimination against transgender people in South Korea. The person who spread the news was Jae-in-soo. So-ah angrily criticized him for using any means necessary to win, and that those people used to be his good friends. Didn't he feel remorse for doing that? Facing Su-ah's criticism, Jae-in-soo arrogantly said to her, "This method is very normal, don't be surprised. As long as you can beat the other party, nothing else matters." This final round was extremely important for Dan Bam restaurant, and also determined his future. Hyun-yi was exposed like that. Would she be able to participate in the competition? Because she was exposed as a transgender person right before the competition, could Hyun-yi continue to participate in the competition? Se-ro sought her out and said that she was the bravest person among his friends. She could run away, but she didn't need to prove who she was to anyone. After that, Hyun-yi also promised Se-ro that she wouldn't run away, and would use her strength to prove it to them. Before the competition took place, Jae-in-soo was still listening to see if Dan Bam restaurant had given up on the competition. At this time, Se-ro appeared, and said that Dan Bam restaurant wouldn't withdraw, and that he would represent the restaurant in the competition. At this time, the large door opened, and light shone on Se-ro's face. That's right, Hyun-yi had regained her spirit. Walking into the competition, she made everyone's jaws drop. Then she announced that she would definitely win. The program went as expected, and she used her dish to conquer everyone's taste buds, successfully winning the championship of the competition. At this time, she ran over and hugged Se-ro tightly, celebrating her victory. Jeon-soo, standing on the side, couldn't say anything out of spite. The next day, Yi Seo sought him out, angrily giving him a slap, because he was the one who spread the news about Hyun Yi. He said that he did this to get Yi Seo, and that he was vying for the inheritance only for her. Yi Seo flatly rejected his feelings, and said that she wouldn't like someone like him. Jenga failed once again, and Chairman Jang was very disappointed in Jeon-soo. After that, he asked Soo what he had done this time, and she said that he had exposed Hyun Yi. Hearing it, he even praised Jeon-soo. Like father, like son. After the failed competition, Janga's chef was fired. Just like that, Chairman Jang took Jeon-soo to participate in the shareholders' meeting, and announced that he would be the heir to Jenga Group. After that, he went abroad to study. On this side, Tony's grandmother also fulfilled her promise to invest. After signing the contract with her, everyone ate and celebrated. They were very much looking forward to the future. Se-ro got very drunk and said that he would definitely build a company that would surpass Jenga Group. Time gradually passed, and 5 years had passed. Se-ro's company had also become the IC Group, but he was still not satisfied with his current achievements. Every day, he was busy working with the goal of becoming powerful and defeating Jenga Group. So told everyone that Jeon-won had returned to the country. It turned out that Soo was still in contact with him. On this side, Chairman Jang was gradually weakening. At this time, Jeon-soo went to invite him to have dinner with the police chief tomorrow night. But immediately after, he fainted and fell to the ground. After checking, they learned that he had cancer and the cancer cells had metastasized. He only had 6 months to live. Switching scenes, Se-ro and Ho-jin were discussing work. Ho-jin said that Chairman Jang had cancer and wouldn't live much longer. Se-ro was very surprised to learn about this, then called him. He said that he didn't want to see him fall because of illness. He didn't expect that when he was about to die, the person who wanted him to live was his enemy. After being released from prison, Jeon-won went to the hospital to visit his father. Although he was dissatisfied with his actions 4 years ago, he couldn't do anything and only said to him that, "Our beloved Jang family will be protected by me." Everyone came to the shareholders' meeting of Jenga Group. Yi Seo fainted from overwork. Then Se-ro frantically took her to the hospital. Because she couldn't participate in the meeting, she was removed from her position as manager. Then Jeon-soo cooperated with a foreign company to win over the shareholders' votes. Even if Yi Seo participated as usual, she would be removed. Jeon-soo, learning that she had been hospitalized, also hurriedly ran there and ran into Se-ro. After 4 years, the two met again. Se-ro told him that he had feelings for Yi Seo because she was the person he liked. And this time, no matter what, he had to tell Yi Seo. He was very stunned after hearing this, seeing that he no longer had a chance. The next day, Soo learned that Chairman Jang had cancer and wouldn't live much longer. After that, she went to his house to visit him. He told her that over the years, she hadn't liked the work he had arranged for her, but because she didn't want to leave Jenga, she had to do what she didn't like. It was because he held her weakness. On this side, Yi Seo was kidnapped by gangsters disguised as doctors. When Se-ro returned to the hospital room, he couldn't see her anywhere. At this time, he received a text message with a picture of Yi Seo being kidnapped. He hurriedly ran outside, and at just this time, Jeon-soo walked over. He received the address of the kidnappers, so he immediately went there, and Jeon-soo chased after him. Unexpectedly, Jeon-won had been waiting here for a long time. Jeon-soo knew that he had kidnapped Yi Seo, so he angrily rushed up, wanting to teach him a lesson, when suddenly, a car rushed over. Before Jeon-soo could react, Se-ro rushed out and pushed him away, while he was hit and flew 10 meters. While he was falling to the ground, he felt regret for not accepting Yi Seo's feelings at that time. At this time, the person he wanted to see the most was her, Jeon-soo. Seeing that something was wrong, called C1, but before he could ask for help, the phone was stepped on and broken by the kidnappers. At this time, C1 also realized that they were in danger. After that, Jeon-soo was tied up, and the kidnappers took the dashcam, destroying the evidence. Jeon-won, looking at Se-ro, who was dying, said that, at the moment he was preparing to take action against Se-ro, the sound of an ambulance rang out, so they could only run away. Se-ro was taken to the hospital, and it was unknown whether he would live or die. The news of Se-ro's accident quickly spread. When she learned this news, Soo sought out Chairman Jang. She told him that Se-ro still hadn't woken up, and that this accident was caused by Jeon-won. But he didn't believe that his son would dare to do that. He also said that if this ruined the image of Jenga Group, What would he do? No matter what, he had to clean up the mess. So hearing this, was very disappointed. So she made the most right decision she had ever made, submitting her resignation and leaving Janga. After that, Soo gave him a USB. Inside was evidence of the crimes of Janga Group for the past 10 years, used to threaten him to stop Jianwan's crimes. Unexpectedly, this act of hers almost made him die of anger. On this side, Jianwan called Chairman Zhang, and also said that he had always wanted to be the son that made him proud, but he didn't know when he had become like this, and also said that his education made him scared. Now he had endured enough and wanted to end everything. And he also said the address where Ye Seo was being held. He wanted to stop this, but his health didn't allow it. After that, he sent a message to Se Ro. After a night of struggling, Ye Seo also broke free from the rope, untied Joan Su, and together they ran away. At this time, Joan walked in, but unexpectedly, he was knocked unconscious by Joan Su. Seeing him fall to the ground, Ye Seo grabbed a wooden stick, preparing to hit him, but she was stopped by Jian Su. Then he kicked him unconscious. The two quickly ran away. On this side, Se Ro, not fully healed, received a message and left the hospital. So not wanting him to get hurt, stopped him. But he said that he had to see Ye Seo. So asked him about her. Just like that, a relationship of dozens of years immediately vanished. Hearing this, she could only let go. After that, Se Ro led C1 to find Chairman Zhang, and asked her where Jianwan was hiding. Even now, he was still covering up his son's crimes, forgetting the original purpose when he founded the company, which was to protect his family, but he was constantly hurting his family for the sake of profit. At this time, he finally understood what Joan said. He said that as long as he knelt down, he would tell him the address. In the past, because of his own face, he refused to kneel, but this time, to save Ye Seo, he abandoned his face and his hatred, and knelt down in front of him. He was only looking forward to this. After that, he sarcastically asked where his stubborn personality from before had gone. Se Ro replied, "Because you wanted me to kneel down, you didn't even need your own son. I really regret having an opponent like you." After learning the address, he turned around and left. At this time, he was very regretful, wondering why he had to go against such a young person. Ye Seo desperately ran, and the kidnappers chased after her. And at this time, a car appeared in front of her. It was Se Ro coming to rescue her. Just like that, the two cars collided head-on. She saw Se Ro get out of the car, and excitedly ran over to hug him. He quickly took her and left. Joan, seeing that something was wrong, immediately drove to chase after them. C1, who hadn't stretched his muscles in a long time, punched several of the kidnappers, knocking them down. Se Ro, who still hadn't fully recovered, suddenly felt dizzy. He said his feelings to Ye Seo. She was also stunned, and at this time, Jianwan chased after them. Se Ro grabbed a rock from the ground and threw it at the car. Then, the two began to fight, putting an end to grudges that had lasted for decades. After that, Ye Seo brought the police to intervene. On this side, Su went to submit evidence of the illegal activities of Janga Group to the police. Just like that, a powerful corporation was being investigated, and the company was facing the risk of bankruptcy. Chairman Zhang and Joan Su discussed how to resolve this crisis. He said that the board was discussing selling the company, and the person buying the company was Se Ro. He was furious after hearing that. That day, Ho Jin visited Joan and told him the news that the group had been bought, and that the person he had bullied in high school was now taking over Janga Group. Joan, hearing this, couldn't suppress his anger. Finally, Ho Jin chose to forgive him. On this side, Chairman Zhang went to beg for help everywhere, but was rejected. At this time, Jane Su advised him to wake up, but he refused to listen. Then called Tony's grandmother, hoping that she would remember their old friendship and help him overcome the difficulties. Her son told him to sell the company to Se Ro. Only then would the company be able to overcome the difficulties. Having no choice, he went to Dambam restaurant, and Se Ro personally cooked for him. While he was eating, he said that he was in the process of acquiring the company, and that he would let Mrs. Kang be in charge of management, and also change the company's name. After he finished eating, he said to him, "I forgot to bring money. I want to use something else to exchange it." After that, he knelt down to admit his mistake, hoping to receive his forgiveness, begging him not to buy Janga Group, but he didn't soften at all, and frankly refused him. After that, he left with Ye Seo. Retribution may come late, but it will never be absent. Se Ro successfully acquired Janga Group. C1 and Hyun Yi arranged to go see a movie, and the two were still as silly as children. Se Ro and Ye Seo also began their first date. She took his hand and said that she would bring him happiness. Se Ro was very touched, and also found new motivation in life. Happiness now belonged to the two of them. At the end of the movie, Su-ah had opened her own restaurant. Above is the entire content of the movie Itaewon Class. On a scale of 10, what rating would you give this movie? Please send your answers in the comments section below. Thank you for watching all of our videos. Goodbye and see you again.